Hello, good people. Welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to bring you this interview with Bran'Dee, a photographer that does music and lifestyle concerts and amazing work. And I was introduced to Bran'Dee through another artist that I interviewed named Jake Gatsby. And I've not been able to look away since. All of her work is so talented. And so I'm really excited to learn more about her photography, her philosophy on photography, and who her favorite artists are to photograph at concerts. So welcome, Bran'Dee.
Hello, well, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. Like I said, found out about your work through Jake because you photographed a number of his shows. And then I started to see like you photographed Megan Thee Stallion and Post Malone and like all these really great artists. And your photos are always really dope and tell a really great story for these artists. So I'm excited to dive in and hear more about your journey. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? I sort of know how you got into concert photography, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically it was kind of like, I guess, accidental because back in like middle school and high school, I was just like a huge fangirl and like One Direction, Justin Bieber, like all those shows. Like I was there, like I had tickets. I would wait like 12, 13 hours in line, like just in a row. And like, so I was like, just like really into that. Like everyone knew me in high school as like the girl with like the Justin Bieber backpack and like, so that was just like my thing. Like I was just like really into that. And then I ended up going to college for acting because like that's what I like thought I wanted to do. So that through like high school and then in college, that's what like I was majoring in. And then I got to college and so I was like, I was like, I was like, I got in for photography, but I was like, I'm still gonna do acting. I was like, I'm gonna double major. And like I was doing it, but like I was putting so much more effort into photography. And so that kind of just fell in my lap. I didn't really know the direction I wanted to go in. And then once I got because I started doing like fine art photography at Cal Arts, which is my first school, and I hated it. I was like, for me, I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I took a year off, and once I got to Columbia, I feel like just like out of nowhere, just kind of hit me like, yeah, like this is because like in college, I wasn't able to like go to concerts and like go to festivals and stuff anymore because I was so busy with like college. So I was like, okay, it kind of just hit me, and like from there, I was like, okay, like this is it because I was always taking pictures and stuff at the shows, but like I had to like sneak my camera in and like, one time I remember I was at a show and like the security guard like caught me and like he wasn't like really mean about it. He was like, hey, give me your camera until after the show, and he just like put it under the stage and then like gave it back to me after the show. He didn't like make me delete pictures or anything. So eventually I figured out, I was like, okay, you have to have a pass to do this. Like you just buy a ticket and like take photos. So that's kind of like how I got started, just like me being a fangirl and being like, okay, I kind of want to do this like for the rest of my life. So I was like, okay, I need to find a job that I actually like and things that I actually want to do. So I was like, okay, I was like, I like going to concerts. I like photos. We'll put those two together and like,
for sure. And I feel like one day you're going to be back at the show and that same security guard is going to be there, but you're going to have the pass and you're going to be like, you don't have to take my camera this time. Like
it's really a goal of mine. And like, it was at the Palladium, which is a venue here in LA. And I was like, I got to get back into the Palladium. I was like, I should get the Palladium. It's going to be like, so we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you knew you wanted to photograph from being at these shows and seeing the energy and all those different things, but what was sort of the most rewarding aspect of taking photos at concerts for you?
For me, it's just like, so like I always tell people like a lot of, I like go to shows and festivals and stuff and I see like A&R people and like, obviously like the artists and their managers and stuff. And like, they're all backstage kind of like doing their thing or whatever. But for me, I think it's a whole different world because I always say like, I'm finally on like the other side of that barricade. And I understand like both perspectives. Like some people never got that experience of just like being a fan. And so I understand both perspectives. And for me, it's just like, that's the most rewarding thing is like when I remember I was at Jesse McCartney show, was taking pictures and it was this girl that he brought up on stage and I don't think anyone really got like photos for her. Like I don't really know like what the deal was. I took photos of her on stage and like after the show I like walked up to her. I was like, hey, I got some photos of you, and she was like so grateful. Like she was so for me it's just like seeing like the fans and like being able to like capture like all that, because like finally like I'm on the other side and like I finally get to like see I feel like I have a very like well-rounded perspective of everything.
Yeah.
I think for me, just like being able to like just like have that and like work with the fans and also work with the artists, and like to me that's like the biggest thing.
Oh, that's so awesome, because yeah, that's a great point. Like, you know what it's like to be a fan, you know what it's like to be the photographer, and so you're able to capture photos that artists and fans are also going to want to see, right? Because you know sort of both sides. So that's a really great way to put it. What's been the most challenging part of being a concert photographer?
So there's like I feel like there's always gonna be challenges, especially with stuff like this. For me, the most challenging thing I think would have to be like when I was first getting started, it was just,
Mhm.
like I'm like not one of those people who like walk up and like talk to people and just like I'm not one of those people. I'm
Right.
literally like I'm just like, okay, like if you talk to me, I'll talk to you, but I'm not
Mhm.
walk up and like so for me that's been like the biggest thing. I think I've gotten a little bit better at it, and
Yeah.
a lot of friends that I have made also like they know like how I am, so like they're like particularly if they're not like photographers,
Right.
like I have one friend, he's really great, and like he literally like walks up to people for me and like
Mhm.
he'll tell people like, hey, like she's a really cool photographer, like that,
Right.
like kind of like tag team the situation.
Right.
So I would say that's like one of like has been like one of the most difficult things, but obviously there's like a lot more other things, but like that's been
Right.
like
So what has been the most challenging aspect of being a concert photographer?
I think there's always been like different things that are like challenging, but like one of the biggest things for me is that like I'm not really the person who like walks up and like talks to people, and like so I feel like networking is like my like downfall. I'm not that person.
Mm,
I've made a lot of friends who have been like really helpful with that. And
yeah.
like I have one really good friend. He'll like walk up to people like artist managers and stuff and be like, hey, like she's a really cool photographer, like da, da, da. And like it's been really cool. And even like, you know, Jake,
Yep.
Jake's he's such like an extrovert. So like
Yeah.
when I meet him, like he'll introduce me to like all his friends, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of just like for me, it's just been like meeting people who are extroverts who can help like help me, and it's been like really great with that because like now like everyone kind of knows, and then like once I meet like whoever it is, the artist or their manager or their publicist or whatever,
Right.
and like start talking and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, like you're cool or whatever, but they would never know that because I just don't walk people. So like that's one of like been one of the most difficult things. Obviously like there's other things too that
Yeah.
come along with jobs and careers and stuff, but that's been one of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think definitely being bold enough to just like go up to artists has been a thing that I've learned. I'm just like, because they're just people, right? So you're just like, hey, I just want to like show how amazing you are to everybody with my art, which I'm really good at. So like, here's my information. But I think that's not always easy.
I've gotten a little better at it,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely not not how I should be.
Yeah. Well, there's no should. You will get there, and soon they'll be calling you, and you just be like, I can't take this show right now. I have another show. But yeah, you'll be fine. And I think, yeah, as you get more into the industry and stuff like that, you'll definitely just learn like who the right people are and like all those different things. And it's great that you have friends that support you that way, and that are able to really branch out for you. So what do you think is sort of your philosophy on a good photo? And this can be a photo that's like a concert photo or just a photo in general, but what is your sort of philosophy when you're taking photos?
I think like for me, just like when I'm taking photos, I'm just like, is it something that I'm going to like enjoy? Like, am I
Mhm.
photo and be like, wow, this is a good photo? Because like at the end of the day, like I know like it's important that like obviously the artists and the fans and stuff like my photos, but at the end of the day, if I don't like it, no one's gonna see it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like for me, it's just like, is it something that I enjoy to look at? Is it like does it really like capture like what was going on? Like for me,
Mm,
a lot of the people like I when I first started working in the music industry, I was like, I need to get backstage. I need to get backstage.
mhm.
I've been backstage and shot backstage, and to be honest, it's not it's not what people
Yeah, it's really not.
really. You try not to trip over chords. You can't see anything because there's fog everywhere. There's
Mhm.
speakers back there, so you can't hear.
Yeah.
Like you can hear like the rhythm of the song, and
Right.
like if you know the song, you can hear that stuff. But like so for me, just like a good photo is like making sure that like I like it, and then also if someone wasn't at that concert or they couldn't make that festival, they look at it and be like, I'm gonna be at the next one, or like,
Mm,
wow, like I want to be there. Like I want them to like see my stuff and be like, I want to see this artist live, or I want to, go to this concert or whatever. So like for me, it's just like I have to like it, and if it passes that I like it, I want to make sure
yeah.
that it actually makes someone like want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I think I definitely feel that with your photos. The one of Megan is really great and just so much fun. Rico, the one on your website, is really great. Rico Nasty, like those are all really great images. And I think you capture the artist like in their element. And it definitely makes me like miss concerts so much. I know that's really, I hope that they don't get, canceled again, but so far it's been good. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Have you had a favorite concert to photograph thus far?
A favorite concert, I would say, let me think. So like I like legit photographed, or one that I kind of just like.
It can be, let's do both. Yeah. So like one that you like low-key photographed and one that you legit photographed.
One that like I legit photographed, like I had like a pass and I was like, like working. I would probably have to say it wasn't a concert, probably festival. I would have to say like Lala has been up there, because it was just kind of like, it was just I don't know, like for me it's like having all those artists in like one place, and like this past Lala, which was 2021 Lala. So I would definitely say that one. And then one where I kind of just like snuck in, I wasn't like really like, I didn't sneak in, I had a ticket.
Right.
And I kind of was just like with my camera, I would have to say probably Ed Sheeran.
Okay.
I just think overall, like he's just a great performer.
Yeah.
And then also like a bonus one, it's just I really love photographing Jake's shows.
Yes. Okay.
Jake, but I love doing his shows because like he always has so much energy, and like most of his shows are pretty intimate. So yeah. But
I haven't been able to see him live yet, or I saw him at a festival, at the Chinatown Festival.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen him at like a concert yet. Yeah. He's very live. He like gets into the audience and like is very.
Jake goes all for it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. I haven't seen Ed Sheeran live either, but also congratulations on Lollapalooza, because you were chosen as one of like 6 photographers, right? Black photographers that were allowed to shoot it. So that was really exciting. I remember seeing that. Yeah,
that was really fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to Lala, even though I'm from Chicago. I probably should go, but that's one of the ones that I haven't been to. But it seems like it's really awesome. I always love like driving down Lakeshore Drive and hearing it from there. So outside of photography, you do some pretty cool things as well. You're really into fitness. I think you're vegan. You also are a snowboarder. So like, tell us a little bit about that.
So snowboarding started when I moved to Chicago back in like 2017 when I first moved there. My neighbor next door to me, he snowboarded, and I saw it on his like story one day, and I was like, take me with you.
Yeah.
So finally he took me like one time. He probably regrets it because I was so terrible. I literally told him, I was like, oh, like you can go up to the top, like I'll be fine by myself. Right. So he took me like one time, and it was like great. I loved it. I was like bruised everywhere the next day. But and then I went, I think either like the next season or maybe the season after that, and was still really bad at it. But this past season, like last season, I kept going like consistently and like fell in love with it. So snowboarding season just started again this year. So I've only been once this season, but we're supposed to go again on like Monday, and like, so yeah. And then vegan kind of just like fell into my lap. I was vegetarian freshman year of high school. We had to dissect pigs, and I was like, this is
not like that.
So I stopped eating meat then, and then senior year of high school, I had a friend who was vegan. She's like, oh, give it a try, and I was like, okay, and I tried it, and here we are, like almost 8 years later now.
Yeah.
No, and then you had one more, but I don't remember what you said.
It's fitness. But that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of just like, I was working at the YMCA when I was taking a year off from school, and obviously free gym membership. And so, and kind of just like fell into my lap too.
Yeah. I just love to highlight those things because I think a lot of times that's part of of who you are, and you know, it adds to sort of your personality and things like that. I learned how to surf when I was in Japan and I loved it. But I don't know that I could do snowboarding. Like snowboarding scares me in a way that surfing didn't. I think it's because your feet have to be locked in and I feel a little claustrophobic. But skiing I can do. Yeah. Yeah. So are there any ideal artists that you want to photograph in the coming years? Any artists that you really want to work with?
Yeah, one of my so as you know, like I was a huge fangirl. So like
Yeah.
my biggest thing would be to get on so my biggest thing would be to get on a tour with like either Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber, because those are like my top two artists
Yeah.
that like, I absolutely love. And
Yep.
then um as far as like for me, I think just like in my head, it's like one of like obviously I feel like the music industry is very like male dominated. Well, it's factually known as male dominated. It's not just me. And I think for me, like right now, like in my head at least, I think one of the biggest artists in hip hop or like rap is obviously Drake.
Yep.
And I'm gonna assume, I don't know, but just from off of like the music industry, I'm gonna assume a lot of his team is probably male dominated. So I think if I was to get on like one of the biggest hip hop artists
Yeah.
as like a female photographer, I think that would be like really cool. So just because the music industry is so male dominated, not just because I mean Drake is a great artist overall, but I think being able to like do that and be like, I want to use it as an example to other people, like you can do this, like it's not just like something that like has to just like float around in your head. So like for me, I think all my goals is always to like show people, like to be an example for other people and be like, yeah, like I'm like I feel like I'm just like the most normal person. I'm like, I'm normal, so like you can do it. Like I was a fangirl. Like if I can get on a tour with like one of my favorite artists, like you can too.
Yeah. I think that's what I love about your story so far is just like you are showing the changing nature of it, right? And I think a lot of, for me, my fandom when I was younger and still like to an extent now is K-pop. And so I know a lot of friends like who've started out as fans and are now photographers for shows. And like even I got to do a show. I got to do Drunken Tiger, Yoonmure, and Busy, also known as My Fans Are Better Than Yours, as a group collectively when I was in LA, and I went to go shoot. And that's actually how I met like one of my closest K-pop friends and things like that. So it's definitely possible for people. And I think it, like you said in the beginning, it definitely helps because you know what fans are looking for, you know what the artist is looking for, and you're passionate about it. So it works out for everybody.
Yeah.
I know you also have your own show, but is there anything you'd like to promote? Any shows coming up? Anything you want to let us know about?
So yeah, the one that I do is called Underexposed. Well, it says Underexposed CR2,
Yep.
but basically CR2 is like the raw format for
Right.
when you like take pictures on a camera, well, Canon camera.
Yeah.
And so I just thought basically it's just supposed to highlight like underexposed artists who are like really talented and like, so not just artists, but like people in the music industry.
Yep.
It's kind of on pause right now just because it's like towards the end of the year, it's like holidays and things have kind of been getting a little hectic, so it's kind of a little hiatus until probably the new year. But yeah, and then besides that, I don't know, I'm just like ready for festival season to come back. I am hoping, like with COVID kind of like slowing down, hopefully next year will be a lot more productive, because this year kind of just like weird for everyone with like COVID protocols and like people, like festivals didn't have like open submissions and stuff. It was like really weird. So just looking forward to hopefully like a really good like festival season next year. But until then, I'll be snowboarding until
Excellent. Well, my final question is always a this or that. And I think I know the answer to this one, but I might be surprised because just because you like the one act doesn't mean that that's where you want to stay. So if you could choose, would you rather live in like the mountains or near the ocean?
Oh, for sure the mountains. With the mountains. Like I actually live near the ocean right now and I literally hardly go. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like it probably takes me like 10, 15 minutes to get to the beach.
Right.
Like the only time I was going was to go down there and like rollerblade with my friends, like we on like a strand. But me physically actually getting into the water has probably been years. Like I haven't gotten like into the water in like years. Like I'm not a beach person, like not me the mountains any day.
Yeah.
Any day. I literally drive 2.5 hours to go to the mountains instead of
Right.
driving 15 minutes
Right.
to the beach. Like,
Snow over sand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any for sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a wonderful season and that things go well. I will put all of your information so that folks can follow you and learn more about your work and hire you. Let's put that out there for shows and all those different things. But thank you so much, Brandy, for taking time to speak with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was
Thank
fun.
you. Have a good one.
Bye.